Okay, so we are back to ChatGPT 4. And yeah, the next time I delivered this course, it's going to be different. I'm going to actually split it into two. I've made some slight adjustments for this, but I've cut down on the amount of time that I'm going to be talking, and we're going to spend more time in creation, which I think is more helpful for everybody. So as per usual, if you've got any questions, just ask them as you're going along. If you're not sure about something, just butt in and ask. No need to put your hand up in the little box. Just ask, or no need to use the chat box. We want to make this as interactive as possible. But now it's time to look at using ChatGPT as a toolbox, because historically with ChatGPT 3, let's just say 3 and 4. 3 was very basic, 4 is very advanced. So it's thinking about it more of a holistic tool that you can use within your business, rather than thinking about it just being for copy. So I'm going to go into that obviously in a lot more detail. I'm not going to go over who I am, what I do, because I think you pretty much know that by now. And She Leads has been designed to provide training around AI in combination with basic business building principles and business growth strategies. So She Leads focuses on service creation, product creation, marketing, and sales. And within that collection of masterclasses, of which I know Shireen's done all of them, and Karen's done quite a few. Actually, Sarah, you've got quite a few now. But they break down, as I said, into services, creating services, focusing in on the marketing, which is how I use ChatGPT and predominantly what it is that I teach. And also now moving into the sales, which actually isn't so much about using ChatGPT. That's much more about practical business advice and working with the people in your community to convert them into clients. And of course, the AIR is a massive one for me. So on the agenda today, we are going to whiz through some of it, and then we're going to spend more time in the creation process using ChatGPT, because it can be a little bit tricky. But first of all, we're going to quickly look at the differences between 3.5 and 4. I'm going to go through a walkthrough of the platform, just a quick walkthrough so you know where everything is. And then I'm going to quickly go through, I don't know why I keep saying quickly, probably not that quick, but I'm going to go through how I've increased my business by 500% using ChatGPT as a holistic tool, rather than just focusing in on content creation, which is what we predominantly know it for. I'm going to go through the Business Marketing Pro Suite I have created, which you also have access to, which is the ChatGPTs I have created to work with it holistically, not just in on copy, but as a business coach and a mentor and a CEO, how I use it in my business that way. Then we are going to play around with creating your first ChatGPT. Now, Shireen's already started one. Sarah, I think, has got a graphic one that we did in the graphics masterclass. And yeah, so we're going to have a play with that so you understand the basics of it, so you can create them for yourself. They can be a little bit fiddly, but once you know the basics and what you're doing, you'll be able to create a bank of them for yourself. So Karen, it could be that you want to create a bank of them for your authors, that they can use, click on a button and then get some ideas around a particular topic or subject. It's very smart, very clever. So really, the main difference between ChatGPT 3 and 4 is point 3 really is like, if you think of a telephone served its purpose. You pick it up, you dial, and you speak to somebody on the other end. Point three is very much, you know, you put copy in, you get an answer out. It's nothing more complicated than that. You put data in, it gives it you out. Now, with the new version of point four, I'm not actually entirely sure how must have been a bit out about 6 months, but it's the difference between the old style phone and having a modern mobile phone. So you've got your apps, you've got all of your, you know, you've got access to the internet, you've got access to analytics. It's no longer just a phone. It's a complex piece of technology that you can use with lots of different applications. That's the main difference between the two of them. The point four has a lot more capability. Its analytics are better. You can set up your own apps. They call them GPT assistants. They could have thought something a bit more sexier, but that's what they came up with. It's more intuitive. It's more responsive. It's much, much smarter. So there's nothing wrong with point three. Brilliant. I use it all the time. But point four is much more advanced. You can do much more with it. Now, one of the main problems with point four is that they have limited, in the last month, I think it is, they've limited how much you can use it. So you can only do 40 prompts in 3 hours, and then it bans you for a period of time, which is very frustrating. So you have to think, right, I'm going on with a project and I'm using point four for this project. So you've got to be really clear about how you're using it. Otherwise, you're going to run out of time and you'll be very, very frustrated. So it's significantly upgraded in terms of the content it produces is much higher quality. It's thought through more cleverly. It's more analytical. It's more concise. You don't have to ask it to change the context so often. This is one thing I haven't done, and I probably won't do, but you can create custom chatbots in point four, which you can integrate onto your website so people can have quite a comprehensive conversation. And also you could use that with your clients. I mean, I see this being used for things like medical centers or doctors, or you know, somewhere where you need to have a bit of a dialogue and a two-way conversation. I don't know how you would necessarily use that in coaching, but it's there. The capacity is there. So it has a much better contextual understanding of the questions it is that you are asking it. Multilingual support it has, so you can speak in foreign languages. It will, I think you can put it, I have never tried, but I'm suspecting you can put it in English, ask it to write in Spanish, and it will write it in Spanish. Never tried, but you could do that. Again, I'm not sure how we would use it, but the capacity is there to one way you could use it is if you have a document that's written in another language, you can upload it and ask it to transcribe it, I would have thought.
Yeah.
So that's something that I haven't tried, but it is there. The security and the privacy they're saying is much better. The security is better protection in terms of sensitive information. I'm not quite sure how that works. That's obviously something that happens with the algorithms with the system. So you can do market research and you can analyze trends, because now you have access to the internet, and you also have a tool that you can use to upload reports, which you can ask it to pull information from. So it is really good at going through a report. I've done this a few times now, going through a report and pulling out all the key points. It will pull out whatever you ask it from the report. So if you've got a 30-page report, you can just pop it in there and ask it to give you a summary, key findings, whatever it is that you're looking for. It's very good at doing that, and it's really quick. Much better at personalized marketing. It's much better at putting things in tables. So it has access, I'll show you in a second, it has access to lots of different plugins that you can use that are already created by other people, and GPT-4 holds them on the system. Again, ad writing, testing, educational support, providing all the materials, client persona development, much better insights. Think of it more of it is more like a computer, whereas the other one was very much typing, you get the answer out, you type, you get the answer back. This is much more of a two-way conversation where you can really delve into the piece of work it is that you're creating or you want to get information from. So anyone, any questions? Is that understandable?
Yeah.
Fabulous. How are you currently using? Have you been using it to, historically just to do the content, to do the writing, to pull your ideas together? Are you using it in different ways?
For me, I've been using it to create journal prompts and positive affirmations for using in journals and card decks.
Oh, nice. And that's new as well, isn't it? I don't think you were doing that last time we spoke. I could be wrong.
What I did was I did some training on Canva, realized that the bulk up data would be really good for creating journals and card decks very quickly. Created series of prompts to create a series of journal prompts and affirmations, and then packaged them as this is how you use Bulk Creator, and these are some prompts you could use to create your own journals, card decks, social media prompt, content, and do things in minutes. So it was just evolved out of that.
Yeah, mind blowing. It's so quick.
Yeah.
Sarah, any changes with you?
And I've been creating some more workflows in GPT-4. I've done another 2, and I've done one for I've done one for because one of my superpowers is to help people fix their phobias really fast, and so I've made one that's a public one where people can ask about phobias in there.
Brilliant.
Made that, yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Wow, impressive. Sheree?
Well, I haven't done anything on this, so
Yeah.
since last week I spent I think what I've been, am I on? Right. So what I've been basically doing, I was doing blogs this week, but I was looking at the difference between what we had talked about last week, where it was more specific for what we've done. So being more aware and more mindful of the way I'm putting my prompts in has been one of the key things for me at the minute. But also looking and seeing how differently I suppose I'm looking at myself, looking at how I'm approaching the whole thing in a much more I think more powerful way, in a way. So I think from this anyway is what I'm learning, how to think things through in a very much more structured, which is what I've not done before.
Yeah, brilliant.
So that's been very, very helpful.
Yeah. Okay, so
can I just ask a question? Sarah, you were talking about workflow.
Yeah.
Is that the same workflow stuff that we did on right at the very beginning?
Sorry, give me a little bit more context, a little bit more information.
Because Sarah, you were talking about workflow. Is that doing a weekly thing?
No, it was what we did last week, where we did that, and when we were creating what Wendy called the app.
Oh, right. Okay.
In ChatGPT-4. So I think I'm just using a different word. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So it's the same thing from last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, let me jump across to ChatGPT 4. Okay, so can you see ChatGPT?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Okay, so hopefully we've all got this, we've all got the same setup. But so in 4, we have access to the plugins. Now it might be something that you haven't noticed before because they're not prominent in terms of the, you know, it's not like you see them instantly. So you click on the ChatGPT-4 button,
Yeah.
scroll down to plugins, click plugins, and then you'll have a list of the ones it is that you have said that you want to have access to. If you don't have any, you go to the plugin store and you can pick a plugin. So there are, I think there's probably a couple of hundred of them. And you can go through them and think, actually, which ones can I use that would be useful for me? So create a diagram. It's a very basic diagram, but it will create a diagram. Have you all seen these plugins?
No, but I've got
it now. I'm just looking at it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said no plugins installed, so I'll have a look. So plugins powered by plugins. Okay, let me just click OK, and it should give me what you've got.
There's some plugins like read this PDF, analyze this data. So there's 106 pages. There's a lot of them. I don't actually generally tend to use them, I have to say. But you can have a look, see if any of them you think would be any good. So access PDF and docs, access links, advanced files, make PowerPoint presentations from PDFs. So there are some useful tools in here. So it's worth going through and having a look to see. And what's funny is that all the icons have started to change because now they have the capacity to create the graphics. Before they were all just really boring graphics. Now they're updating them as they go along, which is interesting. The ChatGPTs that we're creating for our own business and our clients, they will go into a store if we want them to. I'm not sure how the store is going to work. It was meant to be coming out, but it hasn't come out yet. I think it's going to come out in the next month or so. But all of our GPTs will go into a store unless we say we don't want them in a store. So when I go through how do I turn this off? When I go through the ChatGPT, how to create one, I'll show you where you set it to private, so that if you don't want it to be used by the general public, you can just close it down and set it as personal. So on the left-hand side here, we have, these are all the ChatGPTs that I've created. Now, I've obviously created quite a few, and I use them a lot. My favorite ones are some of the simplest ones that I've created. Like one is to give me instant headlines from copies that I've produced. It's brilliant, absolutely amazing. But this is where they'll sit. They'll all sit on the left-hand side. And these two at the top are two other people's the GPTs that I use, that I like. So they'll sit on this side as well until I'd say to get rid of them or not to have them on the side. But these are to do with SEO. So if you find any that you like, they'll also pop up on the left-hand side of your screen as well. So in Explore, this is where you'll be able to create your GPTs. And we're obviously going to go through that in a lot more detail so you can create your own. So I have a mixture of social media content writing, business strategy, and art, AI art. And ChatGPT has its own. And it's good to look at these because it can give you an idea of how they work. So they've just created Santa Claus. If you click on it, it will give you an option to create Santa Claus images. Its data analysis is really good. The negotiator is actually really good. I've used that a few times. If I've got a challenging client and I need to have a conversation, and I know my conversations aren't that great because I'm quite straight, and actually people don't like that when you're trying to sort something out. You have to be a bit, I find you have to be a bit more diplomatic, which I'm not very good at. So I use the negotiator to write out the messages to make sure the messages are on balance and they're not, because I'm so to the point, it doesn't seem intrusive or off or, you know, too rude. It's really good. It's really good. So that's the ChatGPT one. Creative writing coach. They've got images. They've got Karen. This is one that's fun. They've got a coloring book hero. But this, it does it in children's coloring. So when you ask for it to create a coloring book template image, you have to put in create it as an adult coloring book, and then it will create it as an adult image rather than a child image. Otherwise you get something that is not going to be suitable for your audience. So they've got a mixture of different ones. They've added a few ones, but you can check them out. But it'll give you a good idea, a starting point as to how they work. So let's just go through mine for a second, and I think maybe it's worth just, so yeah, as I said, I've got I've set one up for spelling. Sales page headlines is just brilliant. Actually, maybe we should do that one. So okay, when you click on them, you'll have the name, the subheading. Now, what you want to do, a little tip here, is when you create yours, you want to put your email address in at the end. And if you have, so I've always got mine as She Leads in the description, and Wendy Keir in the description as well, subheading. Because when these go public and people start using them, they'll know who's created them. And if they want further information, they can go and check me out. But also in the feedback, I've also asked for as part of the information and the information you get back in the chat box, I've also seeded in a call to action, which says if you want better work-life balance in your business, to go to Wendy's website. So I've put my website address in. So there's a call to action in the information that comes back, which is worth its weight in gold if people start using them. So 4 simple messages, which will help you to create. You don't have to have 4, you could just have 1. You click the link. This is how I've set mine up. I'm just going to get a page from my website quickly. Any random. You can either put the link in, or you can just copy and paste. Oh, not sure that did it actually. You can just copy and paste. Pop the text into the image, not into the image, into the chat box. And then what it's going to do, it's going to read it and it's going to give me a heading based on the copy it is. I use this a lot because it's really good. So if I give you the link, I'll pop it in the chat box, and then this will give you an idea of how it works. So what am I looking for? Chat box.
Should be on mine.
Okay, so if you just click the link, and then you can either give it a page, a link to a website page, or you can just put some copy in there from your website page, and you can see that it will give you a headline. Now, I have set this up for coaches and therapists specifically, and in a particular tone of voice, and for British English, not American English, although I think sometimes it does do it in American English. So part of the prompt is, my focus is on dynamic action words, plain English, emphasizing tangible benefits, ensuring the headlines align with the professional image and brand identity of your target audience. So you can create them to reflect your tone of voice, the types of words it is that you want to use. So this is a really quick and snappy way to create headlines without thinking about it. But it's a nice example of how quick it is, because you can spend ages writing headline. You can literally waste half a day creating headlines for things. Whereas now, if you use this one or set one up for yourself, you're able to do it in seconds because you've already created the app. Now, the difference between point 3 is that historically you would have to type the prompt in over and over again. Every time you wanted to create a headline, you'd either have to type it in again or type a new headline into a chat that you've already created one around. So you'd have to keep your chat, which would be difficult to find. You'd have to keep putting the prompt back in again. Whereas now with the chat GPTs, you've actually streamlined that process into a button. So you don't have to keep constantly putting prompts in. You can create a chat GPT, which is an app. Think of it as a button. And then all of the information, all of the prompts is held behind that button. You put the data in, and then it gives you the answer in the tone of voice, in the style, in the way you want it to give you back. So it's super, super fast. Really fast. So, and the potential of this is unlimited. I think the only drawback is really the lack of our imagination in terms of how we can use it. It's why one of the reasons why I like, if I've got an idea, I just create it. Now I'm thinking, oh, that's a good idea. I'm just going to turn it into a workflow. And I create a workflow, and then I add that into the ones. So just for time, also learning how to create them, understanding how they work, how I can use them in a business context. Has everyone given the headline one a go?
Yeah, I have used it before. Yeah, I used it a number of times actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good. Karen's fiddling with something else.
What I like about that one, Wendy, is because immediately it includes all the copy anyway. So that was what was really revolutionary for me. So when I did the headline, got my talk, I could use from this copy go back, which was really very helpful. Made everything so much easier.
Yeah, Karen, have you already started creating?
You muted.
Sorry, I've just got a dog barking at me because I've got an unfinished cup of tea that obviously is hers, not mine.
Oh.
Do you mind?
Sarah, you've already played with it, haven't you?
Yes, I'm just having another go.
Yeah, fabulous.
Let's go
Fabulous.
grab some text.
Yeah. I just want, if you're not familiar with, have you used these, Karen?
I haven't actually. I had the one for Explore 50 plus or Empower 50 plus
Oh yeah.
from
Yeah.
you, but I hadn't seen how you could create them.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I want to know how to do this. So yeah, but I love the AI, the art stuff as well. So I'm going to have to go in there. But I think because I've got the trial, I don't have the option for plugins. I do have
Oh.
Explore, but it's only giving me ChatGPT-4 and GPT that doesn't have the plugins as well.
Mm.
Although it does, when I go into Explore, it did include DALL-E in there.
It's just got DALL-E in there, has it? It hasn't got any of
So
the
I've got, if I click on that, it gives me a list, but it doesn't give me a huge amount of there. I just have to load more. So it's just it's got some of them.
See, these are ones I've created.
Yeah.
This big list are all ones that I've made.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT itself, I think only has about 10.
Yeah.
Maybe a few more, maybe 15, not many more.
But it's got Mocktail Mixologist, which I think would be quite good fun.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But yeah, and definitely the coloring book. I've got a friend who that's what she does. She creates coloring books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I think if we could create a similar one, but creating an adult version of that,
Yeah.
would be quite good.
Yeah. Do you have at the top create GPT beta?
I've got ChatGPT at the top. I've got Explore. I've got create a ChatGPT.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Brilliant.
It
Brilliant.
just doesn't give me the list of everybody else's plugins as yet. And I think it's just because I'm on the trial, not the paid version yet.
I think it's because you just haven't accessed them. So when you click on the link, when you click on a link
Yeah.
from one of the ones I've created, it should come up on the left-hand side and where all these ones.
It came up with, I have the Empower 50 plus, but I don't have any of the other ones.
Yeah.
So it's got the ones that I've accessed, but those are the only ones.
Yeah.
So if I go into Explore, it doesn't give me all your other ones.
Yeah, it's because you haven't, I'd have to give you the link to every single one for you to, which is fine, because these are all going to go in Trello anyway.
Yeah.
For everybody. And then you can see how they use them or create your own.
Yeah.
So you have to get the link from someone.
Right.
To be able to get access to them. They don't just they won't.
But when you started off, you had the drop down of ChatGPT-4, ChatGPT 3.5, and then the plugins, and then you went to the plugins. I didn't have the plugins the drop.
Okay.
So I think that is because I'm on the trial still,
Right.
as opposed to I haven't paid for it yet.
Yeah.
So I think as soon as I have access to it, I'll be able to find things a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Got you. Got you.
But I do have the ability to make things. It was just like, ooh.
So what you all need to do is go down to your name on the left-hand side. There's a couple of things that you'll need to do. You will need to click on settings and beta.
Yep.
And then click on beta features and make sure that's turned on. I just need to
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't turned on.
Yeah, turn that on.
Yeah. Okay.
Hang on, I just need to have my light on. It's getting dark here. And the other thing that you'll need to do is to go back to your name, and it'll say custom instructions. Click on custom instructions.
Yeah, I put them. Yeah, I filled all of that out. Yeah.
All right, custom instructions.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay. So in here, you want to add in a bit about you. So what you like. This is basically about how you would, the tone of voice and style you would like ChatGPT to respond in. So it's your profile, in essence, it's your profile. It's who are you? What do you do? You know, what are your hobbies? It's basically your profile. It's going to always have this as the, where it's pulling its personality from, where it's pulling the baseline of information from. So what I do is I use copy from the personal persona I've created, because that says exactly who I am in my business without me having to think about who I think I am in my business. It's accurate, it's on point. So the client persona that I've created using GPT, I'll then put part of it in here. Also, how do you want it to respond? So some of the things I've started to do is actually to add in words that I don't want it to use, because I know these words it uses, I see it in other people's writing, like elevate, new heights, digital landscape. These are all common words that GPT uses that I'm starting to put in the box, because I don't want these types of words, because they just repeatedly use them, which is really annoying. If I see any copy written with those words, I know instantly where it's been written, which is fine, but I want to try and avoid that if I can. So you want to think about, okay, what can I put in these, the custom instructions? And when you click on each one, it will tell you what's to go in inbox. It will give you an idea. So where are you based? What do you do for work? What are your hobbies? What subjects can you talk about? So I've got in here, I've got my coaching style, my methodology, practical exercises, resources, accountability. And I've just pulled this copy out of, I could do a lot more, but I've just pulled out of a client persona, which talks about the benefits of what it is that I bring. And I've just popped it in. Yeah, so make sure you fill out that, because that will help it to give you better output. Which we want. And it will use it, because it sometimes every now and again it will say that I live in Thailand. I'm like, how does it know that? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've told it. So any questions about the platform?
No, it's just like, oh my God, I can do this.
Yeah, it's no longer just text-based. I mean, it's text-based,
Yeah.
but it's not in the same way. It is like having a mobile phone. You can do so much more with it. So inside Trello, we have the video training always here. You can always jump on for future sessions. It will be changing slightly. I'm going to split the training in half. But you've got the walkthrough guides, the workbook, the video, the slides, and also what I'm adding in is all of my ChatGPT tools it is that you can have access to. So it's a combination of business, art, and copywriting and social media. So you can use all of those. Those are all at your disposal. And these are what I've used to increase the growth of my business over the last 4 months or so. So let me go back to my slides. So I just want to quickly go through actually what it is that I've done to grow. How have I actually been able to grow so so quickly, because it's all very well saying I've managed to pull this off, but I think it's helpful to understand how actually I've done it. So I started off using ChatGPT because of my dyslexia. I initially thought, oh, this would be really good for spell checking. I then realized that it was so much more than a spell checker. It had so much more to offer, but that was my starting point. So I never had any hesitation about using it. I always just embraced it because it gave me such a sense of freedom. And, you know, not being able to spell when you run a business is pretty hard going. I always felt as if I was dumbing down my expertise and my knowledge because I couldn't express myself properly. And it really allowed me to excel quickly. So because of that, I was able to produce work, much better quality work. Not only that, but much quicker. So I went from doing 1 masterclass a month to 2 masterclasses a month to 3, and eventually in January, I think I'm doing 6. And that's all because I now know how to use it quickly. So I can produce training and content and material really quickly. But that doesn't mean to say I'm just going into point 4 and saying, write this course for me. That's not what I'm doing. It has to be done in my tone of voice and my expertise and the way I do it. But what I do is that it helps me shape the step-by-step process I want to take people through. And then I can wrap around how I want to market, promote, advertise, think about it in that masterclass in a CEO perspective or a business coach perspective. So I'm getting a really holistic overview of how I can position She Leads. So copywriting, I started off with AI marketing and graphics. We all know how passionate I am about that. Copywriting, AI graphics, marketing in its own right, not just copywriting, program and course creation, and business advice. So for copywriting, I use it for things like headlines, unique selling propositions. I hate that. It's just so businessy, unique selling propositions, but I use it to connect with what I see my value as it being, but also being able to draw out from the client personas how other people see my value, which means that I can make really clear, targeted messaging. Then once you've got that, you can create very strong call to actions. Blogging is a big one. It is a subject in its own right, but you can create topical authority maps, which you wouldn't be able to, would have spent hundreds of pounds on creating them previously. So you can, and let me know if you want anything around that, because I've got there's a couple of tools that I have access to, ChatGPTs, which I use, which you can just put your information into and then create a topical authority map in
Wendy, what's a topical authority?
So topical authority map is when you're online, what Google likes is for you to write about a variety of information about your expertise. So what it does is it creates a list of topics that you need to write about to go to the top of Google, to be found easily, to show credibility and authority. So it's a group of, say, 30 articles that all link together that you need to write about to be able to play Google at its own game. That's ultimately what you're doing. So you don't need...
Have you got a plugin for that, or a sort of a thingy for that?
Yep. GPT.
This is the here I created one earlier.
Yeah, I
Topical
wonder,
authority generator. Yeah.
I wonder if I got them in.
Right.
Ah, here we go. And these guys I trust, I follow them on YouTube. They're really, really good. They're really good. You know, this is what they do for a living, SEO. Let me get this one as well. The link. I mean, there's going to be lots of these around. I mean, you'd have paid probably about £1,000 to get one of these. You know, for someone to do a topical authority map, a good one, you'd pay a lot of money. Oh, so these are great. These are great. So, that's definitely an asset. You know, social media is just endless. You know, you can write social media, you can use it in so many different ways to give you ideas, to make posts more engaging. It's really, really quite incredible. You can give it a page from your website and say, analyze this, what should I be writing about, create the copy. Email campaigns, the same. You know, if I'm feeling a bit lazy, I'll put my previous email in there and I'll say, what should I write about now? It's like having but I'm saying that's lazy. It's not lazy. It's just, I don't always have the capacity to think about it. You know, it would be just like giving it to a marketing manager and saying, can you figure this out for me, please? Just sort it out for me. Whereas ChatGPT just does it for you. You don't have to think about it. Testimonials, storytelling. Testimonials are great. I love using testimonials because you can create stories from testimonials. You can make them shorter. It's just endless. They're accurate, 100% on point. It's the person's language. So copywriting is how I use it consistently. Soulful marketing, I use it again consistently. And that's really about thinking about my marketing and having purpose behind my marketing, again, which I use the client persona to base this marketing from, combined with my knowledge and expertise. So I use it for building trust, customer relations, engaging on social media, community building. I can use it to express how I feel when communicating online from much more soul than I was ever able to do before. I think a lot of this is about getting into a routine, getting into a habit, and thinking about, especially with the social stuff, is thinking about what's my plan. You know, what am I going to post about? What am I going to share about? How am I going to be able to express in a voice that my clients are going to be drawn to and understand? Program and course creation, I just love. So a good example of this is that delivering this course now and splitting it into 2 different courses would normally be a bit of, you know, you'd have to get your head around it. You'd have to spend a bit of time thinking about it. I can now upload this course, the copy, into ChatGPT and say, in fact, I've already done it. I want to split this into 2 courses because there's too much content. We're not spending enough time in creation. This is the 2 topics I want to split it into. Can you go through it and split it into 2 separate masterclasses? And it will do it, because I've given it all of the information. All I've got to do is go, I don't want that bit there, I want that bit over there, or actually that's not quite right. And I can literally do it in the matter of half an hour, not a day. And this is why I'm able to create so many masterclasses now, because I know that I have a reliable system that I can use to get my thoughts together quickly. Whereas before it would have taken me ages. Or maybe I'm just a bit slow, but I don't think so. You can
Well, you're
improve,
faster than me.
you can improve your materials, you can track, you can create endless course promotion, learning materials, exercises. Oh, it's just endless. This is an area that I think people don't think about. And that is, let me give you the ones I've created. So I created these two little apps. One is Business Growth Mentor. So I've created a business mentor. So what you do is you just pop in. Actually, let me just click it. I can't remember what the opening. Okay. Tell me more about your business growth obstacles. So you could click that and put in what your challenge is. What are your current challenges in growing your business? You could click that and put what your challenges is. And then what it will do is it will come back, because I've created this specifically for helping coaches, therapists achieve business success, because obviously I'm using it. I'm a coach. I want to achieve business success. So why wouldn't you? And I use this to get out of my own way, to have a business coach come back to me and to say what it thinks it is that I need to focus in on. Now, you need to have some business acumen. You need to know something about business, because what you don't want it to do is to give you a whole list of things it is that it thinks you need to do, because it will do that. You need to think about, actually, I'm one person running a business. Okay, I might have a couple of freelancers it is that I use, but just focus in on the elements that are important to you. So the Business Growth Mentor is great, but the next one up from that, which is, I think, is even better, is the CEO, because the CEO is more along the lines of doing things systematically, growing a team. Let me give you this one. Copy link. It's so the answers are going to be shaped as in the way that a CEO would say it, not a business coach. And they are slightly different. The responses are different. Let me put this in the chat box. But this is, if you play around with these, it's going to give you, it will be helpful. And it will give you just a flavor of how you can start creating them for yourself in terms of a business tool. You know, what sort of CEO would you want? What sort of business mentor would you want? I'm not saying this replaces the human. It doesn't. But it absolutely helps you move the needle, because it helps you to see things from a new perspective. And it keeps you on track. You know, if you're thinking, should I go in this direction or should I go in that direction, you can ask. Very clever, really, really clever. Yeah. So that's another way that you can use problems exploring, business expansion, helping with your long-term vision, growth strategies, financial planning. Very helpful. Really, really helpful. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the same. So the AI graphics, we all know, love of mine. I generate.
What did you do? Is that one dot art or diamond art?
Where are we?
AI art and graphics, that one.
Yeah, so on my, you mean on the board?
Yeah, these. Yeah.
So yeah, there's I think I've got quite a few of them now. So what I'm doing is I'm updating them, is I have AI art.
Yeah. So that picture that was up there, the slides that you've been showing us, have you done those in dot art or diamond art?
Oh, right. Okay. I have done them in something completely different. I
Why I couldn't get anything like that.
yeah, no, I have hang on a sec. I'm looking for slides, something that says slides on it. God, this is one thing I don't like about
Really hard to find anything, isn't
oh,
it?
it's awful. And it hasn't even got a search.
No.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Because I've tried that one.
Yeah.
When I find it, I'll send you the
Slides. I just saw slides. Keep slides
where? Keep slides. Up.
on
Yeah.
under 30 days. Is that it?
40 at 4. Go up 4.
1, 2, 3.
Go up.
Oh
One
yeah,
more.
keep slides. Okay.
So how do you do that? Keep the slides.
So this is a chat that I've created, but purposely because I wanted to create slide backgrounds that were unique and that were branded with my colors. So all I've done is I've created one and I've remembered to save it, but actually I'm saving it because I want to create a GPT from it.
Oh.
And then I just have it as a button, and then I can always create this type of image from it. But
So you did it in DALL-E, yeah.
Yeah, I started with this light one.
Yeah.
So if I give you the where's something's changed. Oh, hang on. No, it hasn't changed. It's because that's an upload. That's why.
All right, got you. Yeah.
So what you can do is you can use this as a template to work from.
Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, just upload that and see what it creates. And then you can work
Put
on
that into DALL-E, yeah.
You can work on your own colors from that. Or you can that should be good enough. If it doesn't work, let me know, and what I'll do is I'll send you the images, then you can upload the images and ask it to create art that is similar. Someone's got fireworks going off, which is a bit odd. Okay, so where were we? Yeah, so you can really think about using it more holistically in your business, not just using it for writing and doing copy, but you can think, how else can it serve you? So the one I did, which was for biohacking, was for my own mental health and well-being, because I recognized that I was running out of steam, I was running out of energy. So I thought, how can I create one that will help me with my health, will help me manage my health and my energy better? Now, I know that I'm not the only one that struggles with that. So I thought, why not create one that my clients and other people can use? What's the matter? Hey. That my client and other people can use for women, solopreneurs in business, for coaches and therapists, because then that it's another way of adding value. It's another way of keeping close in my world. It's just another way to help, to stay front of mind. I think that's what I need to say. It's about staying front of mind, being relevant, and being helpful. It doesn't necessarily have to be about AI, art. It doesn't have to be about marketing. It could be about something completely different. Because in that one, I've got a call to action again. If you want more time freedom in your business, then go to www.wendykeir.com. So there is still a connection, but What are some of the ways that you think you could use it differently in your business now, having a bit more of a holistic overview of how you can use it? Apart from creating new slides.
Yeah, well, it's mind blowing what it can do. Yeah, this has made it even clearer than last time when
Brilliant.
I was in the masterclass. It really helps listening again, because last time I think I was still trying to work out what on earth a workflow was and how you used it, but this time, because I've had a chance to play, I'm like, this could actually mean that, yeah, because like you said, I get really exhausted with thinking what to write, and it just gets overwhelming. Whereas with this, I don't know about anybody else, but would you be able, Wendy, when everybody's had a chance to talk, would you be able to say we've just got GPT-4 right now, like Karen, we've just got it. Could you go through what we do step by step, you know, from like filling in the bit about us, and then just tell us step by step, because I've been on so many masterclasses, my head's a bit jumbled, and I'm not sure step by step that I've done all the bits. So if you could just kind of go through and then make the chat, the work, the app,
So a very basic structure, which I think that would be really good.
Yeah, we can do that. Karen, can you see any possibilities for your business that you haven't necessarily thought about before? You're on mute, Han.
With the course that I created, where I provided a load of different affirmations that I could actually just give them on my own chatbot, the chat GDP prompts that will allow them to create their own themes and then create their own affirmations, create their own journal prompts, and then create some images, some background images for card decks or journals.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. And the thing is, you don't need to put them in the shop. You can have them as paid. You know, when people buy a masterclass or do a course with you, you can have them as an added, included in the course, or they can buy them separately. You know, you could do like a little bundle. Because I think that's what I'm going to do with all the ones I've created. I'm going to create like a business suite, a business bundle for coaches and therapists, and just have them as a standalone product. Because you do have to invest the time, and you have to know what you're putting into create to get the right output. So they're totally sellable. Just depends how you want to use them. But for now, I think just create them, try them out, play with them, see how reliable they are, see what needs tweaking. And start using them for yourself, because then you can see how helpful they are before giving them to other people. So let's go back then to, where am I? So, right. So as a starting point, if you were setting up, you would go down to your name. Click your name. You have the right plan, so you have the paid plan to be able to get onto point 4. You want to go to custom instructions, and you want to fill in the custom instructions. Now, there's 2 ways to do it. You can create your client persona and pull out information from your client persona in terms of, you know, who it is, what your values are, your coaching style, your types of methodology, what it is that you do. Or you can just write it in. Or you can combine both. Actually, combine both is probably the best way to do it. And you also want to say, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? So that's the, whether you want it in plain English, whether you want to be in a warm and informative tone of voice, whether you want it to miss out certain words, things you don't want it to do. Actually, mine could be much better looking at them. I'm looking at them now thinking, actually, I'm saying that. I don't even have that. Oh, yes, I do. Warm and informative tone. So think about your style of the tone of voice it is that you want. Compassionate, informative, compassionate, empathetic, warm. How do you want to come across? Assertive. What's your style? What's your normal tone of voice? I like to think mine is warm and informative. Could be completely wrong, but that's what I would like it to be. So that's what it's going to be, because I told it to be that way. So that's the first thing that you do. The next thing you want to do is to make sure that in the settings that you have beta features turned on. Let me see. I would also have on under data controls, chat history and training. Because that's helping the system to learn. You don't have to have it on, but if I can help, I think it helps. So that's under data controls.
So you've got data controls, you've got export chat. Yeah, export manage shared links here.
So it says chat history and training at the top.
Yeah, I don't have disabled two-factor authentication. Doesn't seem to have that.
Oh. Hey, you two, pack it in. Got.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah.
Yeah. Build a profile, ignore that. I think that's coming. I don't think it's here quite yet. So that's what you need to do with the setup. It's nothing more complicated. With the at the top of the screen, you should see a little button that says no plugin installed.
Yeah.
I don't know why that keeps coming up. That's really annoying. Now, you've probably got no plugins installed. So what you would do is when you've got a bit of spare time, but you don't need to worry about this, because sometimes it's just an extra distraction which you don't actually really need. You will find lots of different plugins that you can use. And there are going to be some here like diagrams, but it's very basic. It's very, very basic. Diagrams, read PDFs, you know, analyze data, Expedia. Generate a map image based on provided location. Why you'd want to do that, I've got no idea. So there's all sorts of little apps that you can use. It's best just to go through them and think if any of them are relevant. But honestly, I just find it a bit of a waste of time. But that's just me. What have I got installed? Chat with PDF, diagram, prompt perfect. I actually don't use any of them. Smart slides. video summary. I don't even use that. Video captions. So just go through and think of any that you'll want to use. I actually think you're better off creating your own, which is what the GPT is, because it's much more specific. So on the left-hand side, you have your own GPTs, and then in Explore, you have ChatGPTs. So the DALL-E Classic, and then theirs, it is that they've created, which you can use. Your chats are just below that, which are, you know, today, yesterday. I try to delete them, which I haven't done a very good job of over the last 7 days by the looks of it. I've done a lot of images which I need to download. I think that's why they're there. Yeah, the chats are below. I recommend deleting anything that you don't need, because otherwise it's just a nightmare. There's just too much. You don't need it. Once you've done it, just scrap it. Is the best way to do it. Otherwise you're going to end up with 6,000 of them, and then it's going to be really hard. Well, actually, saying that, there is you can clear, look, you can clear all chats, but the problem with that is that you clear everything. You know, if there are things that you want to keep. So I'm working on my next 4 sales pages, and I definitely want to keep them, because these are the 4 that I'm working on. If I cleared all the chats, I'd lose all the whole of the conversation, which I don't want to do, because this is where I'm going to create the masterclasses. I want to keep this, and then once I've written it, I'll delete it. Okay, so that's a walkthrough. Does anyone have any questions around the walkthrough?
That's clearer.
Sarah? Yeah.
Yeah, that's clearer. So I think I'm getting the different masterclasses in a muddle. I think I'm thinking about the sales one.
Yeah.
So there was a lot about uploading stuff into somewhere for your client persona and things, weren't there? Do you do that in your custom instructions, or do you do that somewhere else?
So you would do it in the chat. So you would open it if you want to create a client persona.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are 2 ways to do it. So there's the ChatGPT way, 3.5, and that is manual. So you put your information in the chat box, and then you would ask questions. If you want a quicker way to do it in 0.4, you would use one of these apps I've created. Let me just find it. So shall I read it? Persona to post engagement, turn testimonials into client personas. Link. So what you can do is you can upload your testimonials and then just click the button, and it will create a persona for you, so you don't have to keep putting in the prompts. So just keep it focused in terms of your testimonials. So they have to have a connection. You can't like have one about gardening and one about making cake. It's got to be a very similar service.
Yeah, I've been transcribing all of the video testimonials using AI to get some more relevant.
Yeah, so that's where you could do it. But whether you're in 3 or 4, everything goes in the same message box. You just would, in the top left-hand corner, you have a little button, and then you can choose between 4 and 3, which one you're going to use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you want, so in 4 is quicker, but just be mindful that you've only got 40 message every 3 hours. But if you get cut off, you can go into 3 and start using 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think we need, let me just quickly go through, but I don't think we need to go through this too much because we've been doing it as we've been going. But the Business Marketing Pro Suite, which is what I'm bringing together, which is that collection of the GPTs, it's looking at a business more holistically and how you can save time and get business advice. So you've got the business mentoring. So when you think about your business, you can be thinking, okay, what are the different levels that I can use these GPTs consistently for me to be able to streamline the service of my business, but also to scale at the same time. So you've got the practical doing, and then you've got, you know, scaling, business growth, CEO advice that's going to propel the business at the same time. And what that will do is it will just make sure that you're focused in on the right things. Analytical, you can use it for extracting, finding out what the issues are. So I use it for finding out what the pain points people are that are struggling in and going into more depth around that. So you can analyze copy it is that you've created and reports it is that you've uploaded. So think of it more of an analytical tool. Marketing and copy, which is probably where we've all started using it. That would be the starting points. Arts and graphics. I've started to create a bank of arts and graphics that I can instantly do. I've also just been able to create a branded art now, which is like mind-blowing, which is great. So I don't have to put the colors in, I don't have to put the type of image in, it's always on point. And the images are very similar to one another, which just mind-blowing. So if you think about 3 GPTs for your business, what are 3 that you could potentially create, whether that's for you or for your clients? And Sarah, I know you've already started, you've already created a couple.
Yeah, I'll post the Fixer one because that's a public one, and let me know what you think.
Cool.
Ladies. There you go. I think I could make a public like a self-care for people who don't have time for self-care. You know, because it's all about having a bath and all of these things. So I'm thinking of doing like a bit of an alternative, bit of a quirky alternative self-care.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Love that.
So what I would do is after support,
Yeah.
put your website address.
Right. I put into the prompts, there's always my discovery call link comes up.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant.
Let me just see that. Let me look at that. When you say into the prompt, the link comes in. Oh, it's open to
It
that one,
does,
isn't it?
because I had to tell it about 10 times because it kept changing it.
Yeah, there is a level of frustration with creating these.
So did you have to write in all the stuff about the trigger, or did it just do it for you?
No, it did it. I put a load of stuff in. I can't remember everything I did, to be honest, but yeah, I put a lot of stuff in. See what it comes to. Is it bringing it on? Yeah, there.
Right. Oh yes, I see what you've put in there. You put your Calendly. Okay,
Yeah.
discovery session. I
With
understand.
your discovery session, what's the name of your program?
Well, this one is some 3 1-to-1s. It's a freedom from phobia fixer.
I would, rather than having discovery session, this is just a
Yeah.
thing in
Yeah.
my on it, rather than having discovery session, call it like freedom fixer or phobia fixer, or
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say call it the name of your program, but obviously you can't have too many words. But get that, just get the discovery session bit out.
Okay.
Yeah, phobia fixer would be.
Yeah, phobia
Really?
fixer is nice.
Yeah. Phobia fixer. Call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So what is it you want people to do? What's the question? It's important to consult with a healthcare professional.
Yeah, that's not very good. That's not what I need in there.
Experience with a phobia is unique and treated. Maybe you want to have something like, because this is quite broad,
Yeah.
maybe a question like, which one of these would you like to explore further?
What I really want them to do is come and have some sessions with me, because and I ran a Black Friday deal for Phobia Fixer, and I've had people who've been following me for ages have finally booked in, and one of the girls had a emetophobia, so fear of vomit, and she's had CBT, she's had all sorts, and she's done 2 sessions with me and she's fixed. So it's like getting that across. I'm going to do a video testimonial with her next week.
Yeah.
But it's getting that across, rather than going through all the painful re-traumatization of being exposed to vomit. Yeah, that's what I kind of want to put across in this, but it's not really coming across.
No, and it's a bit difficult to do in this, because this is about, you might be able to sorry, Karen?
Didn't say anything.
Oh. You might be able to write a client story.
Yeah.
Get ChatGPT to get a client story, get it to write it, and then ask it if it's possible to thread this story into some of the feedback. But what you want to do, I think, is I would say, yes, ultimately, we all want everybody to book in for a call, because that's business. But I think the more that you can get someone to engage with this, so if, you know, it's given me like 8 points here. If I'm just an ordinary Joe blog from who doesn't know anything, this could be quite overwhelming, which would put me off. So I would say something at the bottom that is, you know, which one of these would you like to explore in more detail? It's not going to go into too much detail. They can pick one, and then they could go into more detail. But each time you're doing this, they're getting closer to understanding what the issue is and how you can help them, rather than having a whole big broad, lots of different things. You know, because mindfulness is one area.
Yeah, that's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, these are all massive subjects.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be like, ooh. So I think to help them to find out more about one subject and how you can help them, I would try and get them to go down.
If I tell it to what to focus on, because I want to take some of them out. So what to focus on, would I tell it what not to include? Would that help?
Yeah. You can tell it what not to include. I think the thing is, don't make it too complicated. Just don't make it too complicated. You might not want to add any of these in. But they might also need to be in there. try and do two things. Try and give it more focus. Try and get it to ask them at a deeper level what the problem is. So, you know, which one of these do you want to explore further? And try and get it to use the client story somehow. So how can I use client stories in this? Because I'm not quite sure how you would do it.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
But yeah, maybe in the sense of the client story of what you, a kind of a small step by step, what you might do in your client story, if that makes sense, so that they could go, okay, this is what Sarah helped me do. This.
Yeah.
I know where it could go. It could go at the bottom of this, couldn't it? You could say, put a client story at the bottom of every new interaction. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, I'll have a play with it later. Yeah, great.
You mean at the end where it comes up for,
Yeah, so where it
if you're
after-
interested in exploring or whatever, it has you have the client story in there.
yeah, so just above it. Well, it's going to do it where it thinks it should go.
Yeah.
It'll do it where it naturally thinks it should go. But that might be interesting to put in there.
Yeah.
Which ones wouldn't you have in there out of interest?
I wouldn't have mindfulness.
No?
Absolute rubbish if you're phobic.
Yeah. So just give it an instruction then saying, don't put anything in about mindfulness.
Yeah. So mindfulness, what else has it said? Interpersonal effectiveness. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably not necessary.
See, it's
But this is DBT, or is this the main one? All right.
I would leave DBT because that usually people are like, no, bloody way, I'm not doing that. They're more likely to, if they read that, they'll be like, oh no, show me a different way.
So it feels to me like it doesn't understand. It feels to me like it doesn't understand what treatment there is for phobias.
I need to,
because there's no NLP in here, or there's EFT or any of these kind of things, which are also very powerful.
Yes. EMDR, yeah. EMDR, EFT.
I mean, I'm not sure where someone would go and do virtual reality therapy.
No.
Well, you can actually do it online now.
Can you?
Yeah, I suppose you could, yeah, because you would have it. It's like exposure therapy, isn't it? But you're watching through a screen. But again, that's very traumatizing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, depends. I've done 2 lots of VR, and they're not too bad. VR is very good for inner child work.
Yeah.
Very, very good for inner child work.
Yeah.
But I think most of what you're saying, it does that thing where it's VR, in this case, is exposure therapy for what they use for trauma, which can be quite challenging.
Not my style at all.
Karen, what are your thoughts?
Thought about the journal prompt creator, affirmation creator, hypnotherapy scripts, author mindset fixer. Bear in mind you've got the phobia thing. I thought that'd be quite a good one.
Nice.
Because you've got things like what issue they're coming up with, it's writing blocks or whether it's anxiety or procrastination. Just a summary of the self-publishing process for people, and then the ability for them to create a book outline from that as well.
Fabulous. There's so many possibilities, aren't there?
Yeah.
So let's run through how you can actually create one, because it's really it's straightforward, but they can be really, the branded image one, just I nearly threw my laptop out the window. I was so frustrated with it, creating it. It wasn't even funny. But I'm like, what do I say to my clients? I say, just push through, Wendy, push through, you'll get there. I'm so cold. So I know how challenging it can be to create these. So what I've done is I've also now got a done for you service. So I'll be creating them for people who just don't want to spend the time actually creating them, which I have just set up. I don't think we need to go through actually clicking on the button and seeing how it works, because we've done that. But what will happen is, let's what I've done is I've gone into the back of one of mine and I've copied and pasted the prompt. It is that it's used to create the GBT. And then what I've done from that is I've gone through it and I've actually laid it out in terms of the different steps it is that it's used. So for this one, it's used, what's your profession? What do you specialize in? Your role is 2, the tone of voice it was using, your guidance, who's it for, after providing initial advice, what is it that you want it to do? Conclude with your advice with a call to action, things that you want it to avoid, clarify ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Tone of voice and mannerisms. So it's made up of lots and different layers. So I've copied and pasted mine into the worksheet here, just so you can get an idea of how it works and how it comes together. But what ChatGPT will also do, okay, so if you go to explore, you want to make sure that you're on 4.4 of ChatGPT, and then go down to explore, and then click on create a GPT. What it will do is it will help you to create it. Now, you can obviously do it this way, which is step by step help you to create it. Or before you even get here, you can go through the exercise and think about what are the different steps. Now, don't put in a website address, because I can't remember. There were some issues about putting in a website address, which it was Renata, wasn't it? It just messed it up. So don't actually put in a website address, because it really didn't help for some reason, even though that's what was in the prompt. So you can either go through and write everything out, which actually is probably a good thing to do, to be fair, anyway. And then you can go step by step and add it into the creation process. So on the left-hand side, you've got create and configure. So create in the chat box here is where you would start the creation process. So I want to create a GPT that is going to help with da-di-da-di-da, whatever that is going to be. You have a little paperclip icon. So maybe you have a report it is that you want to upload. You could ask it to analyze what's in there, the style and tone it is that's in there, what are the key points. So then you could use that as a foundation to build your GPT from. So Sarah, that's probably something that you would use to upload to say, you know, this is the backbone of the GPT. I can't think of another word, but you know, this is the basis, this is the foundation to pull the information from that you could use. Configure is when it'll configure is where it builds the prompts from the instructions that you've given it in this little chat box. So if you flip between the two, you will see the description, the prompt being built, the more instructions that you give it. Now, you always want to have clicked on web browser and image creation. You don't need the code interpreter, and you don't need the create new action, because these are more technical. So you have the name, which you can change, but it will create one for you, the description and the instructions. And when it's ready to test it with you, you move across to the right-hand side and it will say preview, and then it will start creating it on the right-hand side. So just give it a go without following any instructions. And let's see what happens, because we did it the other way last time. Let's see what happens when you start just creating it from an idea. So whatever your idea is, just pop it in the chat box along the lines of, I want to create I can't think of one that I did start writing a list. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Oh, what did I do with it? Lots of ideas, but not. What's everyone trying?
The journal prompt creator.
Fab. So is it a particular style of journal prompts?
I think what it needs to do is actually create the themes for that. So give them what kind of options they have around journals. So it depends on who they are and what they do.
Yeah.
So it might be that buyer persona first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So what it sounds like what you want it to do is to give them a list of options it is that they could create. So you could have it as like categories and then things under categories.
Yeah.
I don't know whether whether it actually works that way or whether. So, you know, you could have the topic as mandalas, then the list underneath. How many different types of mandalas are there? I don't know why I've picked on mandalas, but I think there's quite a lot of different styles.
I'm just trying to think which one I want to.
Hey, bye. Oh no.
Sarah, what are you creating? Are you building on the one you've already created?
Yeah.
So I'm just playing with that first bit of create and asking about that. And I thought the thing that I was going to do is something like biohacking with, pregnancy.
Yeah.
Health and particularly diet is optimizing that as well. But with particular to intermittent fasting, because that's where I'm going to start specializing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just given me a thing of what it would say. It just came up with biohacking pregnancy coach.
That's not bad. It's very on point.
Yeah. I mean, originally I had the Opti pregnancy, but I think the biohacking might be better. So it says the coach now has detailed knowledge about the potential benefits and risks of intermittent fasting during pregnancy. It stresses the importance of personalized approach, considering each woman's unique health profile and pregnancy need. The coach will guide users to how to safely incorporate intermittent fasting into their pregnancy routines, always with the priority of health of both mother and baby. So it's kind of stayed really quite a nice thing of what it is.
So
it also puts the warning, emphasizes the need for consulting with a healthcare professional before starting. I mean, that's interesting.
Would that be you?
Yes.
So rather than it having a healthcare professional, you want to say, can you say that they can reach out for further information on my website, maybe?
This is all in the first part, the create part, yeah?
Yeah. We're very much all in creation. Karen, you've got a nice smile on your face there.
It's just it's done something totally different. So but it's got me a very cute image.
Oh, it created the image rather than gave you a list.
Well, it gave me an image as well.
Is the image the logo?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can change it.
Yeah, but I think I need to help it a little bit more to understand what it's supposed to be creating.
Yeah.
Because but it's just like, oh my goodness, this is so cool.
Yeah.
What's it done? I've updated it to include a feature where
it's really quite incredible. I mean, the person using it does have to have GPT-4. That's another thing. They can't just use it. They will have to have access to the software. But for the amount of billions of people on it.
Right. So can I just ask something?
Yeah.
It says when you said, can they reach out for further information, underneath Chat Builder said, I've updated the biohacking pregnancy coach to include a feature where it encourages users to visit a specific website.
Yeah.
For further information.
You put your website in?
I didn't put the website in, so maybe I maybe I did. Can you put in? Do I need to put just SherryLovegrove.com or do I need to put the HTTPS?
No, I think you can do www. I think the good thing about this is it makes you think really specifically. It makes you get to the point. It's really good. I think it's really good for enhancing your coaching skills. Because you have to ask the right questions. You have to give it the right instructions and you have to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
You could actually have an app that says, actually, this is a good one. Actually, Karen should do this one. Other Karen is, how can I be a better life coach? Would be one.
Ooh.
Okay.
Just written it down. How could I be a better confidence coach? How could I coach my clients better? Yeah, it's just nuts. It will never replace the human, because you need that nuance, you need that depth, you need the expertise.
Yeah.
But it's a really good start. It's a really good starting point for engagement. Because that's where you have your call to action.
Yeah.
You know, if you're stuck, or you could even have a lead magnet in this. You know, you could get really specific, and creating lead magnets takes seconds now. It'll even give you the code to put quizzes on your website. You know, it's mind-blowing. I've only scratched the surface, I think. I just have an obsession with images. Chat with the branded images I managed to create the other day. ChatGPT just told me that I was a pioneer and had just I don't know, significantly upgraded its ability. I was like, oh, that's nice, thank you. No human would speak to me that way. Thank you, that's really nice. I'm like, how does it know that?
I'm always very polite to it, because when they take over the world, I want it to remember that I was kind to it.
You're in this conspiracy theory camp.
Yeah. I like to call it imagination. It's better than the telly. Better than the telly. Listen, I live with a man who's determined nobody's ever been to the moon and the earth might be flat, so I tell you.
I do remember a long time ago, I think I was just had finished my midwifery. So that's a long time ago, 84. And I read this book called Embryo. And this book was really about someone doing sleep studies who was pregnant. And the baby and the computer started talking.
Oh.
Pretty scary. But
you watch, Black Mirrors.
I know.
Black Mirrors, yeah. Very good. Karen, is it doing what you want it to do now? Is it still challenging?
Well, I did ask it to ask the person to clarify, but it didn't do that. So
clarify.
It came back up with the bio persona.
What happens, what I do if I'm not sure where it is anymore, if it's going around in circles, is I will say, show me the whole prompt, exactly what's in it.
Yeah.
But don't change it, just write out for me what the prompt is. And it will give me a whole list of things that is included, so I can just see where I am and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can just be one word that it's picked it up in a literal context and not necessarily in the context you want, because it's still thinking in terms of
the original.
Yeah. but
So
it
maybe
doesn't have that human element to what it is we're trying to say. So it picks it up literally. I mean, the last one I created, the branded one I created, I got so frustrated that I was having an argument with it. And I was like, Wendy, what are you doing? Stop. Just ask it where you're at. Just, where are you? What are you know, what is it that you've created? And you have to remember that if you want images, that to go to when go to configure and always make sure the button's clicked, because it will unclick it for some reason. And the web browsing as well, it will sometimes unclick them. I'm not sure why it does it. And then you can start asking it and it says it can't create the images, and you're like, but you've just created the images. So yeah, you have to constantly check that the little web browser and the image generation button.
think what I need to do is have a look at my own chat GTPs in where I've actually created it to see what prompts I used.
Yeah.
Sarah, something I put in this main prompt was I would, you know, because intermittent fasting is a choice that people make, that they come to me first as their point of call, not go straight to, you know, go to a medical thing, come first to me, and then we'll liaise together. And it's kind of done that now. So that might be something to get them to come for the call.
Say that again, Shireen.
So in the create, I wrote something like, you know, like with the phobia, for example, that's not really something you'd necessarily go to a doctor for your first point of call. What you would do is you would come to the person because you want to deal with it. So get them to come to you as their first point of call.
Yeah.
Because people that are very, very sick are not going to they're not going to be thinking about intermittent fasting, right?
Yeah.
They're going to go to a doctor anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I've just asked it to what have I said? I've asked it for a list of the what did I say? I said, what are the possible treatments for phobias that you are suggesting in the responses? I want to review these and specify which I want you to include and omit. So it's given me the list so I can sort them out now.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Or you could just ask them what you want to put in there.
Yeah, so I can just tell it what I want put in now.
Yeah. Oh, those are nice. This is your signature muse.
Yeah, this is my signature.
Wow.
I'm really happy with it. It gets better. It gets better as you're doing it.
Mm.
Fab.
So as you're going through the process, is it giving you further instructions?
I am just tweaking the configuring to see if it works better. And
all right, so oh, I've just realized something. What I've written in the create, it automatically puts into the configure.
Yeah,
Dates it. Oh,
yeah.
how stupid. I'm just I just kind of realized. Yeah.
It builds it and it changes it.
Is there a way to see what you've already written in it, Wendy, or does it
Yeah.
just keep it open?
So when you let me have a look. Let me go into mine a second. Edit. So when you go into configure, so you've got
Okay.
create and then you've got configure next to one another.
Yeah.
Oh, Karen looks happy. And then it'll
Yes.
have name, description, and then instructions.
Yeah.
That's the prompt it's using.
oh,
Has it done it, Karen?
I've got it to actually ask for the theme of the journal and then give me 100%, 100 prompts.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So how do you automate? Do you have to write in the conversation starters, or can you ask it to generate the conversation?
I changed the conversation starter, and the conversation starter was suggest and list 100 unique and compelling, powerful journal prompts for the following theme. And it said, I can help that, but tell me what the theme is. So I just said kindness, and it was just like, yeah, okay, here you go. So if you leave it broad enough that it has to ask a question to clarify, then it gives you that second prompt.
Wow.
So in the configure, you can either write your own questions or it will automatically, as it's building it, do it for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So when you say it will automatically do it, do you have to ask for it to do it?
yeah, you can ask it, just say create a list of, what are they, conversation starters. Yeah. The conversation starters, they have to be in line with how the prompt has been created, because otherwise you can create one. And then when you click it, it will say it can't do it because the chat GPT isn't set up that way.
Okay.
So for example, my signature one is set up in watercolor. I set a question saying, can you create it in dot art? And then when I click the button, create it in dot art and thinking it would do it in watercolor dot art, it wouldn't do it because it said it was creating in dot art. So the questions have to be really, really in line and specific with what's been created. It's like you can't, I couldn't give it it thinks inside the scope it's been given. It doesn't think outside of the scope. So
Okay.
it's really specific.
Okay, so well, it's given some really, it's given 4 reasonable ones. How can intermittent fasting benefit pregnancy? What is the best biohacking tips for pregnant mums? Can you tell me about safe intermittent fasting? I'm pregnant and interested in biohacking. Where do I start? Those are pretty useful.
Oh, well, as long as
I
you're
think.
happy with them. Yeah, as
Yeah,
long as
I
you're
think,
happy with them.
yeah, I think they're pretty useful.
Also good to do at the top. So where you've got the name of your GPT is to have in brackets actually what it does. So this is for health and wellness, this one. Some of my others are for social media, copywriting, mentoring. It'll just help you to figure out which ones are what. Because once you create quite a few of them, you'll be like, oh my God. So I've started to put them in categories.
I need to put I actually need to have in this heading, I need to have my website in there, don't I? So biohacking for pregnancy coach, health and wellness.
So you can, I put mine in at the end.
Ah, right. Okay. I see.
I'm asking it to include the freedom from phobia fixer as one of the following, as one of the treatments it suggests.
Oh,
I'm giving it a
cool.
description. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
What a little one. What's that? Get off my laptop. What little one? Hey, ow. Oh. Oh.
Confused it.
You've confused it. You can roll it back at the top right.
That's all right.
Okay, let's have a look at this. Right. So we then press create new action. Is that what we do? Or the preview?
Let's have a
Let's
look.
see.
Let me just have a look at mine to remind myself. So maybe just in the chat box, just put I want to test it now, or test.
Into the create.
Yeah, into the create. I want, or maybe don't change the prompt. I want to test it now.
Okay. Certainly you can test it. Let's see what it's going to do. Go ahead when you're ready. So, but it hasn't given me the 4 things.
It hasn't given you the 4 things. What's it
Oh,
given
it
you?
has now. I've pressed the preview.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent. Ah, so it's done at the bottom. I recommend scheduling a call with sharing Lovegrove for personalized guidance and support in implementing the approach safely. So that's good.
Yeah.
Because last week we couldn't get the damn prompts to do that, and now we've
Yeah.
we've managed to do it. Let's put them in the bottom.
It might be that I was trying to be too smart. You know, I was trying to think ahead.
You were.
And it maybe it just prefers it in layers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I like that. Right. I think
This is so cool.
You're having fun.
Oh God, yeah. I've just got it to create a buying persona for a kindness journal for someone looking to be kinder to others at school. And it's persona name, compassionate student, background, interest, challenges and needs, goals, journal usage. It's just like, I love that.
What did you ask it, Karen?
I asked it to create a buying persona for a kindness journal for someone looking to be kinder to others at school.
Ah, lovely.
So yeah. So it just says suggest a buying persona for the following themed journal. And then it asks for more information, plus also the theme of the journal and the outcome. And then it's just so detailed. It's just fabulous. I think that would be actually really useful for people. Just have to work out how I'll move it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would be great for anyone really that's struggling, right?
Yeah.
You know, how can I, what sort of things would I do?
Wendy, I was wondering about making my daughter I always have bought her these Louise Hay page a day calendars, you know, with a little quote on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, they're shit this year. They're absolutely rubbish. I've been getting at them for so many years, and they've got worse. I think it's because Louise Hay's dead. She's not coming up without new, so it's all the same regurgitated stuff. So is that something I could create as a chat GTP? Do you think? Would it be something like what Karen's done?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where would I start with that? Do you think? Would I just find the prompt? Create the quotes first and then the images. How would you do it?
So I would. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Is that yours, Karen?
Yeah.
So Karen's just popped hers in there.
Thank you,
Let's have a look.
Karen.
Hoping that worked. Yeah, it did. Worked for me.
Let's have a look.
I'll have you last.
Hmm.
Oh, I like the
Yeah.
picture. Very
Oh,
romantic.
nice.
So don't forget to pop your
And I've got to
website
update my
address.
own stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say where you'd start when, Wendy?
Right. So what is, just be a little bit clearer with what you want it to do for me.
Yeah. So I want to create an affirmation page a day. That I'll get that printed, but a page a day calendar for 2024. Page a day inspirational quote.
So you want 356 inspirational quotes.
Yeah. I could
Okay.
do it a week. I could do it a week. I could do it for 52. It'd be a little bit less challenging.
Yeah. So do you want the image inside the quote, or with the the image and the quote together? Is that what you want?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's similar to what we created the other day. You remember when we did the
Yeah, the background.
yeah, it's the same principle as that.
Right.
So you would, I know what you'd do. You'd ask it to create the prompts. You would ask it to do two things. You would ask it to create, no, first it needs to find the quotes. So where's it getting the quotes from is my question.
Right. So if I put in an author that she likes,
Yeah,
or a series of
that.
authors,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you could say, pull out the 50, was it 56? I don't know how many weeks there are in a year.
52.
yeah.
52, sorry. Pull out 52 quotes from these people.
Yeah.
Or maybe pick 100 and then you pick the 52.
Yeah.
So you are selecting them.
Yeah.
And then from the 52, you want to say, create an image prompt. Here's the thing though, you want to think about the type of image you want it to create, you want to create. Do you want them all to be themed the same, similar? Do you want them to be all completely different?
Yeah, different, I think. Yeah.
Themed or different?
Yeah, if I could hear it right, themed, but yeah, themed, I think. Themed would be nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to think about what type of theme.
Yeah.
So what I would do, because it can only create an image at a time, is I would get it to create get all your get all your quotes, and then set up a GPT to incorporate the quotes. So then all you would do then is you would add your quotes into that GPT, so they're of a similar type of art and color. Or you could within that GPT, you could have your 4 questions could be based on color. So I don't know, orange, blue, purple, or other colors. And then you could put the prompt in and click the color, and then it will create it in the color and the style of art. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just something that might make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Mm. Ooh,
Yeah, I'll have fun with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
want to go
have
back
a play.
to
Thank
the
you, Wendy.
prompt.
We've had you
That's
for
okay.
ages. You need to go.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, when we're testing
Yeah.
one thing on the day,
Yeah.
how do you get back to that original prompt with the 4 prompts? Can you get back to it, or do you
You
have to
can't
go
get back
out of
to
it?
it.
So I'd have to go back
Right.
to, can I retest and just do a retest?
This is lovely, Karen.
I've
Woo!
really enjoyed today, I must say. I have
I have
really
been much
enjoyed
more
Just
seeing
been,
efficient.
so
Yeah.
much more clarity.
Yeah.
it's just been so cool.
This is why
Yeah.
I'm going to split it into 2, this training, because I just think there's too much in
Yeah.
it. There's just too much. I mean, yeah. So I'm going to do one which is just purely create the chat GPT, and one that is purely just chat GPT-4. I'm going to separate them, because I don't know about you, but my head's about ready to, if my
I was
head's
gonna
ready
say,
to
yeah.
pop, then
Yes.
your head's, it's too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Really
So
good.
when I create them, you can all come on to the next ones.
Thank you. Brilliant. Mhm. You're changing my life, Wendy.
Good. As long as it's good, as long as it's in a
It
good
is.
way.
No, it's brilliant. I'm feeling like I probably need to spend January assimilating all the information and putting it into practice, and then start again with more masterclasses after that.
Oh,
Okay.
yours, I've just clicked on this is interesting. I've not seen this before. It says suggest a buying persona for the following theme journal. It's got response 1 and response 2.
It's completely changed it.
I'm just gonna
What happened to me, Karen?
No, that was me. I wanted it to do another one, but it just created something different.
maybe it's because I clicked onto it while you're updating it.
No.
Here we go. To suggest a buy persona for the theme journal, I need to know the more specific theme of the journal. Could you please provide me with a theme of the journal to have in mind? Love and compassion. This work. Oh, this is giving me a persona of a person who would buy a journal.
Need to find out what the original was, because does anyone have the old version?
I think it updates it automatically.
Yeah, it did.
Maybe you can ask it to roll back.
It did. It said it couldn't.
Oh no.
I'm
So
just-
here's what we should do. And I haven't done this, but we should do it. Is when you find when it's done it to almost how you want it, copy and paste the prompt and keep it. It's the same way we would it's the same way we would with the way we used to do clip drop and save the prompt.
Yeah. Yeah, I put them into OneNote now.
Yeah.
Everything goes
Yeah,
into
OneNote's
OneNote.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame it doesn't do it like a website, you know, when you can go so far back.
Yeah.
I've got one.
I still quite actually the buyer, I don't know where it's pulling the buyer persona from, but it's not bad.
Come on, let this woman go, ladies. It's not fair.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going now.
Yes.
We could just be here forever.
I know, we're just so busy caught in our own little thing.
I can leave it open for you if you want.
No, I'm hungry. I need
No.
some dinner.
Yeah.
All right then, lovelies.
Food,
Thanks,
food
everybody.
backers.
Thank you,
I
Wendy.
I see
Thank
you
you.
online. Karen,
Thank
I
you,
need to send
everyone.
you the notes and the workbook stuff, so I'll send that across to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye, lovelies. Bye, Shireen. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, everyone.
Mhm.
We'll take a
Thanks so
picture.
much. Yeah,
Take a picture.
great. Let me see you all.
Yeah. Bye.
See that everyone's jumped
I
on.
know, she disappeared.
As soon as you said picture, everyone did a runner.
I know. I got one. I've got one in quick.
Oh,
I'll
funny.
put it in. I'll put it in quickly. Now, where's my
Stick it
thing?
into Facebook.
I will. Let me just quickly get it there now. Messenger. On there, I think. She leads. I'll just put it in there. Oh,
All right,
shit.
lovely. Take
It
care.
didn't.
Oh, you
Okay,
did well,
take care.
never mind. Bye.
Oh dear. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.